The huge alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. It was sleek and silver, with strange blue lights running along its hull. Earth's defense systems detected it immediately. Alarms blared in the United Earth Defense Fleet headquarters. Commander John Wells was eating lunch when his communicator buzzed. He answered it quickly and stood up, abandoning his sandwich. "On my way," he said. He ran through the corridors of the space station, passing other officers who looked worried. "What do we know?" John asked as he entered the command center. Admiral Lisa Martinez pointed to the main screen. "They're calling themselves the Verkathian Empire. They want to talk." The alien vessel was at least 5 times larger than Earth's biggest warship. Its technology was clearly more advanced. Lieutenant Samantha Reeves studied her sensor readings with a frown. "Commander, I'm detecting unusual energy patterns. Their ships seem to be taking positions that look diplomatic, but—" She paused, adjusting her glasses. "It feels like a trap." John nodded. "Admiral, I recommend caution." Lisa looked at him. "The President wants us to show goodwill. You'll lead the diplomatic team, Commander." Hours later, John sat in the shuttle with 5 other officers. They approached the alien vessel slowly. The inside of the alien ship was strange but beautiful. The walls seemed alive, with colors flowing through them like water. A tall, thin alien with blue skin greeted them. "I am Ambassador Israel. Welcome to our vessel." John stepped forward. "Commander John Wells of Earth. We come in peace and friendship." The alien's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Truly? How interesting. Your species is younger than we expected." The meeting room had a large table. The humans sat on one side, the aliens on the other. Samantha kept watching the aliens carefully. Something didn't feel right to her. "Your warships are primitive," said Zrel. "Your technology is basic. What can humans offer the glorious Verkathian Empire?" John tried to remain diplomatic. "We have rich culture, art, and unique scientific perspectives. We hope to learn from each other." The aliens spoke to each other in their language. Their translator devices were turned off. Samantha nudged John and whispered, "Sir, more alien ships just appeared in orbit. They're moving into attack formation." John stood up. "Ambassador Israel, why have your military vessels arrived?" The alien smiled, showing sharp teeth. "You are observant for a primitive species. We find Earth valuable, but humans are unnecessary." John pressed a hidden button on his uniform. "We can defend ourselves." Zrel laughed. "With your simple warships? Impossible." Alarms suddenly blared through the alien vessel. The humans used the distraction to run. They sprinted through the corridors toward their shuttle. 2 aliens tried to stop them, but Samantha knocked them down with quick moves. "How did you do that?" John asked as they ran. 6 years of martial arts," she replied. "Their bodies are actually quite fragile." They reached the shuttle just as explosions rocked the alien ship. The U.S. Defiant, Earth's flagship, had launched a surprise attack to cover their escape. "This is Commander Wells," John yelled into the comm as their shuttle launched. "First contact has failed. The aliens are hostile. Repeat, the Verkathians are hostile." Their small shuttle dodged energy beams as it raced back to the Defiant. Once aboard, Captain Eric Donovan ordered immediate retreat. "We need to warn Earth," John said. "They outnumber and outgun us." The Defiant jumped to light speed just as more alien ships appeared. Back on Earth, Admiral Martinez received their message and looked grim. "Begin evacuations of all outer colonies," she ordered. "Prepare all military vessels for defensive operations." She looked at the star map showing the approaching alien fleet. "And activate Protocol Omega," she added quietly. The officer beside her looked surprised. "Ma'am, that's for extreme situations only." Lisa nodded. "These aliens think our warships are our greatest strength. They're about to learn that humans have many other ways to fight." The Verkathian warships filled the sky above Europa Colony. Their weapons glowed with strange blue energy. On the surface, Major Greg Patterson watched through his binoculars. He had only 50 soldiers and some local volunteers to defend the colony of 15,000 people. They're landing troops, Greg told his second-in-command. We can't stop them with what we have. 3 weeks had passed since first contact. The aliens had attacked human colonies across the solar system. Earth's ships fought bravely, but were no match for alien technology. We just need to buy time for the civilians to reach the emergency shelters, Greg said. He looked at the scared faces around him. Remember your training. Hit and run. Don't try to fight them directly. The first alien ships landed near the colony's main square. Greg's team watched from hidden positions as blue-skinned soldiers marched out. They carried weapons that fired energy bolts. Now, Greg whispered into his radio. Explosions rocked the landing area. The mines they had planted worked perfectly. Several alien soldiers fell. The rest looked confused, not expecting resistance. Greg's team fired from multiple positions, then quickly moved. The aliens shot back, but hit only empty buildings. This pattern repeated for hours. The humans would attack, then disappear before the aliens could respond. Meanwhile, on Earth's moon base, engineer Olivia Wright worked frantically in her lab. Computer screens showed data from the alien ships. Their shield frequency changes every 12 seconds, she told Admiral Martinez over the video link. If we time our weapons to hit at the exact moment of change, we might get through. How long until you can make it work? Lisa asked. Olivia ran a hand through her messy red hair. A week, maybe 2. But the fleet won't last that long at the current rate. In orbit around Mars, Captain Eric Donovan commanded the last 3 ships defending the planet. His fleet had started with 15. Target their propulsion systems, he ordered. Fire and jump to new coordinates immediately. The human ships fired missiles, then disappeared into hyperspace before the aliens could lock weapons. They reappeared elsewhere, fired again, and jumped away. This tactic couldn't win the war, but it confused and frustrated the aliens. On the Verkathian command ship, Commander Zextar slammed his fist on the table. How are these primitives still fighting? He demanded. Their ships are like toys compared to ours. His lieutenant bowed. They use unusual tactics, Commander. They refuse to engage directly. They strike and vanish. Zextar hissed with annoyance. It doesn't matter. Establish the blockade around their homeworld. They will surrender when they start starving. Within days, Earth was surrounded by alien ships. No vessels could enter or leave. The Verkathians expected humans to beg for mercy. In her office deep under the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Martinez met with military and civilian leaders. The room was silent as she explained the situation. Conventional warfare isn't working, she said. Our ships can't beat theirs in direct combat. So we surrender? Someone asked. Lisa smiled for the first time in days. No, we changed the rules of engagement. Protocol Omega is now in effect. She pressed a button, and a new map appeared on the screen. It showed thousands of small dots spread across Earth and the colonies. These are our unconventional warfare divisions, special forces, hackers, biologists, chemists, even historians and psychologists. People the aliens would never consider as threats. A general looked confused. What can they do against warships? Warships aren't everything, Lisa said. The aliens think technology alone wins wars. Let's teach them otherwise. Back at Europa Colony, Greg's forces had retreated to underground tunnels. The aliens controlled the surface but seemed confused. They kept losing patrols in the maze of colony buildings. Greg received new orders from Earth. He read them and smiled. They want us to stop fighting, asked one of his soldiers. No, Greg replied. They want us to start fighting dirty. 6 months passed since the aliens first attacked Earth. They controlled the skies and most major cities, but something strange was happening. Despite their superior weapons, the Verkathians couldn't seem to fully control the planet. Dr. Alan Fisher checked his notes again. Before the invasion, he had been a simple biochemist at a small university. Now he worked in an underground lab with 20 other scientists. They had converted an old subway tunnel into a research facility. The compound is ready for testing, Alan told his team. This should target the aliens' respiratory system without harming humans or Earth animals. One of his assistants looked worried. Is this ethical? It could kill them. Alan sighed. They bombed 3 civilian hospitals yesterday. This is war. But we'll start with a non-lethal version, just enough to make them sick and force them to wear breathing equipment. Across the country, Colonel Natalie Summers trained another group of civilians. They met in the basement of an abandoned shopping mall. 20 ordinary people, teachers, plumbers, office workers, learned how to become resistance fighters. Remember, you don't need to win battles, Natalie explained. You just need to make their occupation so difficult that it's not worth staying. She showed them how to make simple traps from household items, how to communicate without using electronics, and how to gather intelligence without being noticed. The aliens expect us to act like soldiers, she said. So don't. Act like civilians, but very annoying ones. In orbit, the Verkathian supply ships brought food and equipment to their forces on Earth. Commander Zextar reviewed the latest reports with growing frustration. We control their orbital defenses, their satellites, their major military bases, he said. Why are we still losing troops every day? His lieutenant displayed a map showing supply routes. We can't figure out how they're moving resources, Commander. We destroy 1 underground route, and 3 more appear. Their supply lines don't make sense. They're primitives. Zextar shouted. How are they doing this? We may have underestimated them, the lieutenant suggested quietly. Near what used to be Chicago, Marine Sergeant Kyle Bennett and his squad moved through sewers. They had spent weeks mapping the tunnels under the alien communication relay. Everyone clear on the plan? Kyle asked. His 5 squad members nodded. We go in, copy their data, plant the device Olivia made, and get out. No heroics. They emerged from a maintenance tunnel directly under the facility. The aliens had built their relay on top of an old human building, never checking what was beneath it. Kyle's tech specialist, a young woman who had been a computer programmer before the war, connected to the alien system. She downloaded their communications while Kyle's team planted devices around the structure. Got it, she whispered after a few minutes. All their command codes and patrol schedules. They slipped away as quietly as they had come. The aliens wouldn't discover the breach for days. At the main Verkathian headquarters on Earth, the alien governor complained to his staff. I was promised this would be simple, he said. Their military is defeated. Why do we need more troops? Why do supplies keep disappearing? Why do our soldiers keep dying from mysterious illnesses? No one had good answers. The humans weren't fighting like any species they had conquered before. In her underground command center, Admiral Martinez received reports from resistance cells worldwide. She marked successful operations on her map. Small victories were adding up. The aliens expected us to surrender when they destroy our warships, she told her staff. They don't understand humans at all. A communications officer rushed in with a new report. Admiral, Dr. Fisher's compound works. Alien troops in 3 sectors are now wearing full environmental suits. It's slowing them down considerably. Lisa smiled. Good. And Colonel Summers' civilian training program. Over 5,000 ordinary people are now causing trouble behind enemy lines. The Admiral nodded with satisfaction. The Verkathians thought war was about ships and weapons. They're learning that humans can turn anything into a weapon, even their own bodies, even their kitchens, even their knowledge of history. The Verkathian soldier stared at his communication device in confusion. The message from his commander told him to abandon his post and report to base immediately. He looked at his squad members, who had received the same order. They left their checkpoint and hurried back to their base. When they arrived, their actual commander was furious. "Why did you leave your posts? I gave no such order." But the soldiers had seen the orders on their devices, complete with proper authorization codes. Diane Rodriguez watched this scene through binoculars from a nearby hill. She smiled and spoke into her radio. "Phase 1 complete. The checkpoint is empty." Diane had been a marketing executive before the war. Now she led a team of psychological operations specialists. They used their understanding of fear, doubt, and confusion as weapons against the aliens. "Move in and place the packages," she instructed her team. 3 civilians, looking harmless, walked past the abandoned checkpoint. They dropped small devices that would broadcast false messages to any alien who came within range. The aliens would start doubting every order they received. In a basement 50 miles away, Kevin Peters typed rapidly on his computer. Before the invasion, he had been a cybersecurity specialist. Now he used those skills against the Verkathians. "Their network security is advanced," he told his team, but they never expected humans to understand their technology so quickly. Kevin had spent months studying captured alien devices. Now he could send fake orders, create phantom human forces on alien scanners, and make their targeting systems malfunction at critical moments. "They rely too much on their tech," Kevin said. "They don't have backup plans when systems fail." On the Verkathian command ship, Commander Zextar received disturbing reports. "What do you mean the prisoners escaped?" he demanded. "The facility was designed to be escape-proof." The officer looked uncomfortable. "They used the ventilation system. The design specifications didn't account for how small and flexible humans can be, and they somehow turned cleaning supplies into tools." Zextar slammed his fist on the table. "This is the 12th escape this month. How are they doing this with such primitive technology?" Meanwhile, aboard a smaller alien vessel, 2 Verkathian soldiers discussed their fears. "They watch us all the time," one said quietly. "I can feel their eyes on me, even when scans show no humans nearby." "Yesterday, my patrol found messages written for us in our own language," the other replied. "How did they learn it so quickly? And how did they know our names?" "I heard humans can survive for days without sleep, and they can eat almost anything," the first one whispered. "Is that true?" "I don't know, but my commander disappeared for 3 hours yesterday. When he returned, he seemed different. He keeps checking over his shoulder now." The Verkathian High Command sent orders for more troops to be dispatched to Earth. What was supposed to be a simple occupation had turned into a nightmare. Their soldiers were experiencing high levels of stress and paranoia. In a hidden facility near what used to be Boston, human scientists examined captured alien technology. They found ways to improve their own devices faster than the aliens could develop countermeasures. Admiral Martinez received the weekly reports from all resistance cells. The news was encouraging. "The aliens are increasing their troop numbers, but it's not helping them," she told her officers. "Their soldiers are afraid and confused. They don't understand what they're fighting against." One of her officers looked concerned. "But we're still losing people every day. We can't match their firepower." Lisa nodded sadly. "True, this is a war of attrition. We're not trying to defeat them directly. We're making Earth so difficult to hold that they'll eventually decide it's not worth the cost." She pointed to a map showing alien activity. "Notice how they're concentrating in smaller areas. They're abandoning the less populated regions because they can't control them with the forces they have." A communications officer interrupted with an urgent message. "Admiral, Kevin's team has successfully penetrated the alien flagship systems. We now have access to their entire battle plan." Lisa smiled. "Perfect. Now let's make sure they know their plans are compromised, but not how or by whom. Let's increase their paranoia even further." In his quarters, Commander Zextar couldn't sleep. Something about these humans bothered him deeply. Their warships had been easy to defeat. So why was everything else going so wrong? The alien patrol moved carefully through the small town. It had been abandoned when they first arrived, but the Verkathians had learned that empty human settlements were often the most dangerous. "Building clear," reported one soldier as he exited a house. Their commander nodded. "Move to the next sector." None of them noticed the old man watching from a window 2 streets away. Frank Miller had been a history professor before the invasion. Now he used his knowledge of past wars to help fight a new one. Frank wrote notes in a small book. He recorded the number of aliens, their weapons, and their patrol route. Then he sent a short radio message using a code based on American Civil War signals. Across the country, similar messages arrived at Resistance headquarters. Admiral Martinez's staff compiled them into a complete picture of alien activities. This intelligence network operated without modern technology, using methods the aliens couldn't detect or understand. Frank's radio crackled with a response. "Package ready for delivery. Await signal." In another part of the country, Michelle Johnson worked in her greenhouse. Before the war, she had been a farmer. Now she grew plants that produced chemicals useful against the aliens. "This batch is ready," she told her assistant. "The compound breaks down the seals in their environmental suits within hours." Michelle had discovered that certain earth plants, when processed correctly, created substances that damaged alien equipment. It wasn't as dramatic as shooting down a warship, but it was effective. "The next delivery goes to Frank's region," she said. "They're planning something big there." At an alien outpost, a Verkathian officer screamed in frustration. "How can this happen again?" he demanded. "This is the 3rd time our systems have failed this week." His technician looked miserable. "Sir, there seems to be some kind of insect inside the equipment. They're chewing through the wiring." "Insects? You mean the humans are using bugs as weapons now?" "Not exactly, sir. It appears these insects are naturally attracted to our power sources. The humans just release them near our facilities." The officer kicked the damaged console. "Is there anything on this planet that isn't trying to kill us?" 10-year-old Billy watched the aliens from his hiding spot. The adults in the Resistance had given him an important job. Children could go places aliens didn't watch closely. Billy counted the supply trucks and remembered their markings, just as he had been taught. Billy had gotten good at this game. He could remember long strings of numbers and symbols. The grown-ups always seemed happy with his reports. He didn't fully understand why this information was important, but he knew he was helping drive the aliens away. When he finished counting, Billy slipped away through a drainage pipe too small for the aliens to follow. He had mapped dozens of these child-sized passages throughout the occupied town. In her command center, Admiral Martinez met with her science team. "The aliens are struggling with Earth's environment," said one scientist. "Their equipment isn't designed for our atmosphere, our microbes, or our insects." Lisa nodded. "Have we confirmed the reports about their water issues?" "Yes. Their biology can't process Earth water without extensive filtering. Every time we contaminate their water supplies, they have to bring in more purification equipment." "Good," the Admiral said. "Keep focusing on these basic necessities. We don't need to destroy their warships if we can make them unable to drink, breathe, or maintain their equipment." In orbit, Commander Zextar received the latest casualty reports. The numbers were shocking. "This can't be right," he said. "More troops died from equipment failures and illness than from direct human attacks." His lieutenant confirmed it. "Yes, Commander. The environment itself seems hostile. Even our most advanced technology keeps failing in unexpected ways." "And the humans?" Zextar asked. "How do they survive in these conditions?" "They've evolved here, sir. They're adapted to this world in ways we're not, and they're using that advantage against us." Zextar stared at the blue planet below. He had conquered 12 worlds before this one. None had been so difficult. "We expected their warships to be their primary defense," he said quietly. "We destroyed those easily. But now—" His lieutenant finished the thought. "Now we're fighting against farmers, children, insects, and microbes. And we're losing." 2 years after the invasion began, something unprecedented happened on a Verkathian patrol ship. The soldiers refused to go outside. "We will not patrol Sector 7, the squad leader told his commander. 3 teams have disappeared there this month. The commander's 4 eyes widened in shock. "This is mutiny. You'll be executed for this. Better to die quickly than suffer whatever the humans do to their prisoners," another soldier said. The others nodded in agreement. Similar scenes played out across Earth as alien troops became too afraid to enter certain areas. Some claimed to hear whispers in empty rooms. Others reported seeing human shapes that disappeared when approached. Many suffered from mysterious illnesses that their medical technology couldn't cure. On the Vorkathian flagship, a different kind of rebellion was brewing. Kretil, an alien anthropologist, prepared to present his findings to the High Command. His hand shook as he organized his notes. What he had discovered would not be welcomed. Humans evolved as persistence predators, Kretil explained to the gathered leaders. They hunted by chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. This makes them uniquely suited for prolonged conflict. Commander Zextar frowned. "What does this mean for our occupation?" "It means they will not give up," Kretil said simply. "Ever. No matter how long it takes or how much they suffer, they will continue to resist. It is literally in their biology." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. In an occupied city, humans had developed new ways to communicate. They used references to Earth movies, books, and history that the aliens couldn't understand despite having perfect translation technology. "We're going to Oz tomorrow," one resistance member would say, meaning they planned to attack a green-colored alien facility. "Remember the Alamo," another would reply, indicating they understood and would provide backup. The aliens intercepted these messages but couldn't make sense of them. Human culture had become a secret code. In her hidden command center, Admiral Martinez reviewed the latest reports from around the world. The cost of the occupation had reached levels that were unsustainable for the Vorkathian Empire. Their resources were being drained by a planet they couldn't fully control. "Other species under their rule are watching us," Lisa told her officers. "They're learning our resistance techniques. The Empire is facing problems on multiple fronts now." A young officer handed her a tablet with new information. Captain Laura Stevens' mission was successful. She accessed the alien flagship's broadcasting system. Lisa smiled. This had been their most daring operation yet. Laura and her team had infiltrated the Vorkathian flagship not to destroy it, but to reveal the truth. On thousands of Vorkathian planets, citizens watched in shock as their screens showed unexpected images. They saw their mighty military struggling against a supposedly primitive species. They saw troops refusing orders out of fear. They saw the real cost of the war their leaders had claimed was an easy victory. The images had been carefully selected by Laura's team to show not just human victories, but Vorkathian suffering. The goal wasn't to celebrate human success, but to make the alien public question the war. The broadcast ended with a simple message in the Vorkathian language. "Your leaders lied. This war cannot be won. Ask them how many more must die for their pride." The effect was immediate. Across the Vorkathian Empire, citizens began asking uncomfortable questions. Why was such an advanced civilization struggling against primitives? Was Earth worth the cost in lives and resources? On their homeworld, the Vorkathian government faced a crisis. Different leaders proposed conflicting solutions to the human problem. Increase our forces and crush them completely. Some demanded. Withdraw immediately and cut our losses. Others countered. Use our planet destroyer weapons and be done with it, a few suggested desperately. Commander Zextar, once the most enthusiastic supporter of the invasion, now remained silent. He had seen firsthand what humans were capable of. He had watched his troops suffer defeat after defeat, not from warships or armies, but from farmers, children, insects, and invisible enemies. For the first time in its long history, the mighty Vorkathian Empire faced a species it could not easily conquer. And the cost was becoming too high to bear. The Vorkathian Emperor's message was broadcast to all ships in Earth orbit. Commander Zexstar listened with mixed feelings as the order for ceasefire was given. All forces will cease hostilities immediately, the Emperor said. We will open new negotiations with the humans. After 2 years of bloody conflict, the war was ending not with a final battle, but with a simple message. Zexstar wondered if any other species had ever forced the Empire to such a humbling position. On Earth, Admiral Martinez received the alien communication with cautious optimism. They want to meet on neutral ground, she told her staff. The moon base has been suggested as the location. Is this a trick? Someone asked. Lisa shook her head. Our intelligence suggests they're sincere. Their empire is suffering. This war has cost them far more than they expected. 3 days later, Commander John Wells stood beside Admiral Martinez as they waited in the conference room of Moon Base Alpha. It seemed fitting that the man who had been at the first contact would also be present at its resolution. The door opened, and the Verkathians entered. Commander Zexstar led them, followed by Kretil the anthropologist and several other officials. They looked tired and somehow diminished compared to the proud warriors who had first arrived at Earth. We come to discuss terms, Zexstar said without preamble. For hours, they talked about the details of peace. The humans were firm but not vindictive. They wanted recognition of Earth's independence and respect for human territory. During a break, Kretil approached John privately. I must ask, the alien scientist said, how did your species do it? How did you defeat our superior technology? John considered the question. I think you misunderstood what humans are from the beginning. You judged us by our warships and thought that was the measure of our strength. What is the measure then? Kretil asked. Adaptability, John replied. Humans can adapt to almost anything. When one approach fails, we try another, and another. We never stop trying. Kretil nodded slowly. My research found something interesting. My species became so dependent on advanced technology that we lost the ability to function without it. If our devices fail, we are helpless. Humans are not like this. We use technology, John said, but we don't depend on it completely. Sometimes the oldest solutions are still effective. When the negotiations resumed, both sides made compromises. The final agreement included technology exchange, but maintained Earth's independence. The Verkathians would withdraw their forces over the next month. As the aliens prepared to leave, Zexstar made a surprising admission to Admiral Martinez. We have conquered 12 worlds before yours, he said. None gave us such difficulty. The Emperor has created a new classification for humans in our database. What classification? Lisa asked. Deceptively advanced. Combat capability not proportional to technological development, Zexstar said. It is a warning to any who might consider attacking Earth in the future. A week later, Lisa stood at a window watching alien ships departing Earth orbit. John joined her. What are you thinking about? He asked. How strange this all is, she replied. They came expecting an easy victory, because our warships were inferior to theirs. They never understood that humanity's strength was never about our ships. John nodded. We survived because of farmers who understood chemistry, children who could gather intelligence, historians who remembered old tactics, and ordinary people who refused to give up. The aliens thought war was about technology, Lisa said. We taught them it's really about determination and adaptability. Outside, more Verkathian ships moved away from Earth. Their massive warships that had once seemed so terrifying now looked like just another failed attempt to conquer the human spirit. As the last alien vessel disappeared into hyperspace, a new message went out to all human settlements across Earth and the colonies. They're gone. We won. The response came back from millions of voices, not with arrogance but with simple pride. Of course we did. We're human.